Imagine for a moment that your monthly Social Security payment could increase by hundreds of dollars, not just for a short period, but permanently for the rest of your life. This isn't a temporary stimulus payment or a one-time bonus that vanishes next year. It's a fundamental shift in the system, a structural increase that resets the very baseline of what you receive month after month, year after year. For some retirees, this could mean an extra $300 to $500 every single month. For married couples, the increase could be even more substantial, but there's a crucial part of this story that isn't being widely discussed. While many people stand to gain thousands of dollars annually, others could inadvertently lose a portion of that increase to higher Medicare premiums or unexpected taxes if they aren't paying close attention. The rules are evolving, the calculations are changing, and if you haven't yet filed for your benefits, the timing of your decision could now matter more than ever before. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly how much more you could receive, when that money might arrive, and what you need to watch for to ensure you keep every dollar you've earned. This isn't just another routine adjustment, it's a genuine turning point for retirement income. Let's begin by understanding why this particular raise is so different from anything we've witnessed in the past. For years, Social Security increases have often felt underwhelming. You would hear about a cost of living adjustment, maybe 2%, maybe 3%, sometimes a bit more during periods of high inflation. But after everything settled, the actual increase in your monthly check frequently just covered rising grocery bills or a jump in utility costs. There's a specific reason for that. The traditional formula used to calculate annual increases was based on a price index that tracks the spending patterns of urban wage earners and clerical workers. In simpler terms, it reflected the expenses of people who are still working full-time, commuting, and buying different types of goods and services than retirees typically do. But if you're retired, your largest expenses probably aren't commuting costs or work clothes. They're healthcare, prescriptions, insurance premiums, housing, and everyday essentials. For years, advocates argued that the old formula simply didn't capture the financial reality of older Americans, so adjustments often felt like they were playing catch-up instead of providing genuine protection. What makes this change historic is that it recalibrates the baseline itself. Instead of applying small patches to a system that wasn't accurately measuring senior expenses, the updated framework now uses a more heavily weighted index that better reflects how retirees actually spend their money. That means the foundation of your benefit, the number upon which all future increases are built, has been lifted higher. And that distinction matters more than most people realize, because when you permanently raise the base, every future cost of living adjustment compounds from that stronger starting point. This isn't just about keeping pace with inflation, it's about correcting years of undermeasurement and creating a new, more secure floor beneath your retirement income. Now let's talk about what this actually looks like in real dollars. Imagine a retiree who has been receiving around $1,800 per month. Under the old system, a decent cost of living adjustment might have added $50 or $60. Helpful, certainly, but not transformative. Under this new permanent recalculation, that same individual could now see their monthly benefit rise to approximately $2,100. That's a $300 increase every single month. Over the course of a year, that's $3,600 more in your pocket. And remember, this isn't a bonus that disappears next year. That $2,100 becomes your new base amount. So when the next annual adjustment is applied, it's calculated on $2,100, not $1,800. That's where the long-term power really begins to show. Consider a married couple as another example. Let's say the primary earner receives $2,200 per month, and the spouse receives a spousal benefit that brings the household total to $3,300. With the recalculated baseline, their combined monthly income could rise to over $3,800. That's roughly $500 more each month, $6,000 per year. For many households, that's the difference between constant budgeting stress and having some genuine breathing room. It could cover property taxes, it could offset rising Medicare premiums. It might allow for travel to see grandchildren, or finally tackling long-postponed home repairs. This is where the emotional impact meets the financial reality, because Social Security was never meant to be just survival income. It was meant to provide stability. And when you permanently raise the foundation, you're not just adding dollars, you're adding resilience against the unknown costs of the future. Now let's examine what happens over time, because this is where the real power of a permanent increase truly reveals itself. When your base benefit rises, every future cost of living adjustment stacks on top of that higher number. Think of it like building on a stronger foundation. If your benefit moves from $1,800 to $2,100 and next year's adjustment is, for example, 3%, that 3% is applied to $2,100, not the old $1,800. That may not sound dramatic at first glance, but over 5, 10, or 15 years, that difference compounds in a meaningful way. A few extra percentage points applied to a higher base year after year can translate into tens of thousands of additional dollars over the course of retirement. And remember, Social Security is designed to last for life. The longer you live, the more valuable that stronger starting point becomes. This is especially important for women who statistically live longer and for anyone concerned about outliving their savings. The higher baseline acts as a buffer against inflation, healthcare costs, and unexpected expenses that tend to increase later in life. In other words, this isn't just a raise for today, it's reinforcement for the decades ahead. But before you start mentally spending that additional income, there's an important question we need to address. Will Medicare quietly take part of this increase back? For most retirees, Medicare Part B premiums are automatically deducted from their Social Security check. So when your benefit rises, your premium deduction is part of the equation. There's also something called IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. If your income exceeds certain thresholds, you may pay higher Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. And here's where this larger benefit increase could create ripple effects. A higher Social Security payment could push some individuals or couples into a higher income bracket, especially when combined with required minimum distributions, pensions, or part-time income. That doesn't mean most people will be affected, but some will. There is protection built into the system, known as the hold harmless provision. This rule generally prevents your Social Security check from decreasing due to an increase in standard Medicare Part B premiums. In simple terms, your net Social Security payment typically cannot go down just because Medicare premiums rise. However, if you fall into the higher income category, those additional surcharges are not fully shielded by hold harmless protections. That's why understanding your total income picture matters more than ever. There is some reassurance here. IRMA determinations are based on your tax return from 2 years prior, and if you've experienced a life-changing event such as retirement, divorce, or the death of a spouse, you can file an appeal to have your premiums adjusted based on your current income. Many people don't realize that option exists, so while this historic raise is overwhelmingly positive, it's important to approach it with awareness. The goal isn't to dampen excitement, it's to ensure you keep as much of this increase as possible. Now let's talk about something that catches many retirees off guard: taxes on Social Security benefits. A lot of people are surprised to learn that Social Security can be taxable at the federal level depending on what the IRS calls your combined income. Combined income includes your adjusted gross income, any non-taxable interest, and half of your Social Security benefits. When that number crosses certain thresholds, a portion of your benefits becomes taxable. For individuals, if your combined income falls between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. If it exceeds $34,000, up to 85% of your benefits could be subject to taxation. For couples filing jointly, those thresholds start at $32,000 and $44,000. Now here's where this historic raise matters. If your monthly benefit increases significantly, your combined income calculation could rise as well, especially if you also have pension income, withdrawals from retirement accounts, or required minimum distributions. Some retirees who have never paid taxes on their Social Security before may now find themselves crossing that line. Others who were already paying taxes could see a larger portion of their benefits taxed. That doesn't mean you'll lose most of your increase, but it does mean planning becomes more important. You may want to consider adjusting your tax withholding directly through the Social Security Administration to avoid a surprise bill during tax season. And if you're unsure how this affects your specific situation, speaking with a qualified tax professional could help you create a strategy that protects as much of this increase as possible. The next question most people ask is simple: when will you actually see this increase in your bank account? The Social Security Administration is implementing this adjustment according to its standard payment schedule, which is based on your birth date. If your birthday falls between the 1st and 10th of the month, you're typically paid on the 2nd Wednesday. If it falls between the 11th and 20th, you're paid on the 3rd Wednesday. If it falls between the 21st and 31st, you're paid on the fourth Wednesday. As this recalculated benefit rolls out, it will appear automatically. There's nothing you need to apply for and no special form to complete. The increase is built directly into the system. The best way to confirm your updated amount is to log into your personal My Social Security account on the official Social Security Administration website. You'll be able to view your new benefit amount and payment details there. And this part is critical. Do not trust phone calls, emails, or text messages claiming you must verify information or pay a fee to receive your new benefit. The Social Security Administration does not charge fees to unlock increases, and they will not contact you demanding personal information out of the blue. Unfortunately, major announcements like this often attract scammers who try to take advantage of confusion. The increase is automatic. You don't need to do anything except stay informed and monitor your official account. Whenever there's a major change involving Social Security, scammers move quickly, and with a historic permanent raise like this, you can expect them to be more aggressive than ever. They may call claiming there's a problem with your increase. They might send emails that look official asking you to verify your information to release your new payment. Some will even spoof phone numbers to make it appear as though the call is coming from a government office. Let me be very clear. The Social Security Administration will not contact you out of the blue demanding payment, threatening to suspend your benefits, or asking for sensitive information like your full Social Security number over the phone. They will not charge you a fee to access your increase, and they will not send you text messages with suspicious links. If you ever receive communication that feels urgent, threatening, or confusing, pause. Do not click. Do not respond. Instead, go directly to the official ssa.gov website or call the official number listed there. This raise is automatic. There is nothing you need to unlock, activate, or pay for. Protecting your benefits is just as important as understanding them, because one successful scam can wipe out months or even years of hard-earned income. Staying informed is your first line of defense. Now, if you haven't started claiming Social Security yet, this development could significantly affect your decision about when to file. Traditionally, the decision has revolved around three primary ages: 62, full retirement age, and 70. Claiming at 62 locks in a permanently reduced benefit. Waiting until full retirement age allows you to receive 100% of your calculated benefit, and delaying until age 70 increases your benefit through delayed retirement credits. But here's what changes with a higher baseline. If the entire benefit formula has been recalibrated upward, then even a reduced benefit at 62 is now based on a larger starting number. That means someone who chooses to claim early may still receive more than they would have under the previous structure. On the other hand, if you delay until 70, your delayed retirement credits, typically adding about 8% per year after full retirement age, are applied to this new higher base. That can result in a substantially larger monthly check for the rest of your life. So the raise doesn't just increase payments for current retirees. It shifts the entire claiming strategy conversation. The break-even calculations change. The lifetime income projections change. And the right decision may depend even more heavily on your health, life expectancy, spousal benefits, and overall financial picture. This isn't about rushing to claim or automatically waiting longer. It's about understanding that the numbers behind the decision have moved, and when the foundation moves, your strategy deserves a second look. There's also an important group we haven't discussed yet, those receiving disability benefits or supplemental security income. And for many of them, this permanent adjustment could be just as meaningful. If you're receiving Social Security disability insurance, this announcement applies to you as well. SSDI benefits are tied directly to the same calculation framework used for retirement benefits, which means when the baseline is permanently raised, disability payments rise with it. For millions of Americans who rely on disability income because they can no longer work, this isn't just a financial adjustment, it's recognition. Healthcare costs, specialized treatments, adaptive equipment, transportation needs. These expenses often rise faster than general inflation. A stronger benefit foundation helps create more stability in a situation where predictability matters enormously. The same broader shift also impacts supplemental security income, though in a slightly different way. SSI operates under federal benefit benefit rate limits, and when those limits increase, recipients can see adjustments to their monthly payments. Now, if you receive both SSDI and SSI, there's an interaction to understand. Because SSI is income-based, a significant increase in your SSDI benefit could reduce the SSI portion. However, in most cases, because the disability increase itself is meaningful, recipients still come out ahead overall. The key is to review your updated benefit notice carefully and, if needed, speak with a representative to understand exactly how the numbers interact in your situation. The goal is clarity, not confusion. When you step back and look at the full picture, this historic permanent raise represents something larger than just a bigger monthly deposit. For years, many retirees and disabled Americans felt like adjustments were barely keeping up, like they were constantly trying to stretch every dollar just a little further. A recalibrated baseline signals acknowledgement that the old system wasn't fully aligned with the real expenses older Americans face. A higher foundation means stronger compounding over time. It means better insulation against inflation. It means more breathing room in household budgets that have been carefully managed for decades. But with that opportunity comes responsibility. Understand how Medicare premiums could interact with your increase. Be aware of potential tax implications. Protect yourself against scammers who will try to exploit confusion. And if you haven't claimed yet, revisit your strategy with fresh eyes because the math has changed. This is your money. You earned it through decades of work and contribution. A permanent increase isn't just policy, it's protection for your future.
Yeah, grind mode on, can't kill my drive. Turn the pressure up, I come alive. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. Wake up with a vision, I'm locked on the target. Turn pain into fuel, I'm a flame, I spark it. No shortcuts here, I embrace every test. Pressure on my shoulders, still I handle it best. I was made for the climb, every loss, every scar built me into steel, now I shine like a star. If the road gets rough, I just double my speed. Ambition on 10, I was born to lead. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. They said limits exist, but I shattered the frame. Every wall in my path is just fuel for the flame. Discipline heavy, but my spirit is free. I don't chase success, success chases me. I'm the storm and the calm, I'm the rise, I'm the proof. Every bar that I drop is the grind in the booth. Blood, sweat, tears, that's the code I trust. I don't wait for the crown, I earn it, I'm rust.